Hello and welcome to BOI Weekly. Today on the program, we'll show you the impact of the Bank of Industry's intervention in two companies, one in the Foundries subsector and the other in edible oil processing industry. Nigerian Foundries Limited, located in Ota, Ogun State, is a leading ferrous foundry manufacturer in sub-Saharan Africa, producing a wide variety of metal castings for industrial use. Being a seven-time beneficiary of intervention funds from BOI sits them nice and dandy in the bank's Hall of Fame, a recognition only reserved for the bank's customers who operate with a high level of integrity and have proven it over time. The MD, Mr. Vasily Barbaropoulos, speaks to us about the impact of BOI's intervention in the expansion of the company's operation, as well as plant and machinery acquisition. Also on the show today, we head to Ondo State, where the Bank of Industry reached out to an agro-processing concern in Akure and supported them to procure a 350 million naira soya milling plant, giving them the capacity to process at least 120 tons of soybeans per day. The MD, Mr. Olaitan Abolariwa, says the BOI intervention helped increase the company's capacity to meet local as well as export demand for their product. I'm Kayode Alayande. Stay close for details.
Have you ever imagined a time when you could apply for and get a loan from the comfort of your bedroom? Or prayed that the processing time was shorter? Well, it is now a reality with the fast and swift Bank of Industry real-time online loan application initiative.
The BOI Online Loan Application Portal is designed to deliver access and convenience to prospecting SME customers by ensuring that applicants need not have to physically visit the bank. Applicants simply have to submit all necessary documents via the online portal with the liberty to select their preferred BOI state office wherein their applications will be processed. How it works? Simply search the keyword Bank of Industry and download your mobile app from Play Store for Android users, BlackBerry App World for BlackBerry users, and Apple Store for iPhone users. Click on the Apply button. Click on Register to register your account. A verification link and tracking code will be sent to your registered email address. Click on the verification link to facilitate login. Once logged in, you can complete your application, submit, and click on Continue to start tracking your loan application. An email will be sent to your email address confirming receipt of the application. With this initiative, BOI has reduced its loan application and processing turnaround time. Start applying for your loan right away. Bank of Industry, transforming Nigeria's industrial sector.
On arriving at the Nigerian Foundries Limited premises, we were required to first of all take a brief health and safety orientation, after which we got dressed for the environment and then met the MD.
If you find yourself with any of the bays inside the factory, you could move also outside. The doors are wide enough to accommodate the numbers of persons in the factory. And I wish you a safe stay here.
Thank you one more time.
Yeah.
What we are very well known for since 1969 is making manhole covers and gratings. Anybody since that time knows that. I mean, about 90% of the manhole covers and gratings that are casted in Nigeria are ours. So we are a brand name when it comes to that.
Do you export?
Yes, we do export to neighboring countries. Export market is a very difficult market because the costs for exporting from Nigeria very high. So as a result, you need to be able to subsidize your price when you want to export to be competitive. We produce products from basic raw material, which is scrap iron, to all the end, to the final product, to the machine product, and so on. There's very few companies that meet the compliance that we meet. Plus, we have another fact, which is we have an 85% local raw material content. Not only local content, but local raw material content. We worked towards the demand of the other industries. It wasn't that it just came like that. We had, as a foundry, it's a very particular type of industry because it's not like you can go and say somebody needs 100 pieces of that or 200 pieces of that or whatever. Foundry is basically we custom make parts according to various equipment.
All right, so tell me about those products that clients usually come to you for.
Clients come to us basically for the standard products that they have, like quarries come in for their consumable parts, cement plants come for their consumable parts that wear out. We have clients who come who have parts that have broken or worn out over time and they can't buy them abroad anymore because the original equipment manufacturer has closed down and so on. So then there are clients who want improvements and they come to us and want us to help them with the design of new products and so on. So it's an interesting relationship because you have to work with your client and the client has to work with you. Because we can even take a part that has been designed abroad and the client, when he's using that part that he designed abroad, might have somewhere an erroneous design side to it, in which case we can improve on that design. So this is what is the big difference of a foundry. A foundry makes parts custom makes parts according to what the client wants.
What's the measure of the intervention at that time? Was it a holistic intervention in terms of plant machinery? Did you have funds to do business as well?
In those days, the intervention was all in foreign exchange, and it was payable back in foreign exchange. So whenever the Naira devalued, we had to pay at the devalued rate of the Naira.
You talked about the Bank of Industry giving you working capital. This is something that the Bank of Industry hardly does.
Yeah.
Why did you think they considered you at that time a working capital?
Because we are probably one of the extremely few old customers and who have paid them reliably and on time. We are looking of going now to the cutting edge of technology. We are looking at going into 3D printing for foundries. There's right now, even in the US, there's only about 20 foundries that are using some form of 3D printing.
What's the future of foundries?
Well, the future of foundries, like I said, is moving away from actually just copying castings, and it's now moving into product design. And that's where the whole future is going. It's no longer will you just be making a casting, you'll be making a designing a product according to the requirements of the equipment manufacturers. And that's where we are heading for. Right now we are looking at making more castings for the oil and gas industry. We can only do that by going into 3D printing for foundries. We are looking like making valves and such things.
I need you to think for a moment. If there wasn't a bank, an industrial development bank like the Bank of Industry, what would your business have been like?
Well, I wouldn't, let me put it this way, if it wasn't a bank that gave gave loans at interest rates of 10%, it would have been very hard. In fact, it's been many times very hard, the fact that all these years we had to work with working capital that came from commercial banks. So, I mean, there's nothing, you cannot, it's like giving an industrialist a teacup without a saucer. The working capital is required. You can't just go and buy the machinery and so on and not have the working capital. So it is imperative that there is working capital attached to it.
Now, Nigerian Foundries has been inducted into the Bank of Industry Hall of Fame. How does that make you feel, and what does that really mean to you?
We are regimented. When we borrow money to put productive use of it, which will bring more money to repay our loans. Simple. We don't borrow money and divert it for other things, which many times is a common occurrence. Okay, so when we say we're going to buy equipment, say centrifugal casting equipment or 3D printers for the foundry, that's what we're going to do. We're not going to use the money to go and buy vehicles or buy something that will prop up our image and then use the remaining. So we basically focus on what we're doing. Another aspect is that we do not, one of our I wouldn't call it a secret because it's not a secret, but is that we focus on our business. We only do vertical integration. We don't do horizontal. We don't run a foundry and at the same time run a brewery and at the same time run a plastic company or something like that. We expand vertically our technology, and we expand to the same clientele.
This is the refinery of First Maximum Limited, an indigenous agro-processing enterprise located in Akure, the Ondo State capital. Concerned about the high level of post-harvest losses from soybeans production in Nigeria, First Maximum, with the support of the Bank of Industry, is today able to process at least 120 tons of soybeans per day.
We started this industry in 2007 with 20 machines, expellers, to process the palm kernel into crude palm kernel oil, which we normally sell to the soap makers and the refiners into edible oil.
What precipitated this business? How did you start?
Well, I graduated from University of Ilorin and I served in Muslim College, Ijebu-Ode. There was a factory then at Ijebu-Mushin. After my service here, I went there, I worked there briefly for about 5 years. I am the procurement manager of the industry to buy palm kernel cocoa, and we process it into the edible oil in the factory. Since that time, I've got passion that anytime I have my own money, I should be able to establish this industry because I know what it takes to go back to do value chain in Nigerian industry.
It's interesting you say, you told yourself that anytime I have my own money. So at what point did you have your own money? I'm wondering, how did you raise the capital to start?
When we started, initially we have another unit, which is Brampton Investment. It's an industry, as a cocoa exporting business in Elisha Road. So whatever little money we are getting there, we are getting it back, plowing it back into this industry. We are cocoa exporters. And whatever money we are making in a gradual form, we started with our own money in 2007, whatever we have acquired, because I left this industry in year 1996. I left the factory, then I started procure palm kernel cocoa on my own, selling to the industry, selling to the exporters of cocoa. So as the time goes by, whatever little money we have made, we decided to say, look, let us also go into the export of cocoa without selling to the local exporters. So that's how we got started. We have some connections overseas to export the cocoa.
You've shown, based on the story you've told me so far, that you're a self-driven entrepreneur. That's quite interesting. But how then did you get in touch with the Bank of Industry? How did you, why did you go to the Bank of Industry? How did that encounter happen?
I will not say we'll go into the Bank of Industry. The Bank of Industry came here on their own, marketing us. Because most of their customers that are doing little enterprise, crushing a small, medium scale factory in the town, we are the off-taker of their products. Because the Bank of Industry wanted to finance them, they want to know where they are supplying this product. And that's why they came here in person of women, one of their ladies there. She came here, she said, so you are in Akure? I said, we are in Akure. And you have not been coming to Bank of Industry? I said, we have not been coming to Bank of Industry. Okay, then do you still have anything you want to do here? Our bank can finance you. I said, what? I said, this is what all the banks have been saying, they will do this, they will do that. He said, don't worry, Oga. And to be surprised, the following week, he brought his regional manager from Ibadan, and the manager said all of them came here. They assessed the factory, and they said, what exactly do you intend to do? I said, well, one of the banks is trying to package us for the Bank of Industry to do soya meal plant. They said, well, we have come. Nobody needs to package you. And we have seen what you have put on ground. Tell us exactly, send us your proposal, and we send it to them. And before you know it, the money came out, to our surprise.
So
we don't know anybody. I don't know anybody in Bank of Industry. I've never even been there. As I'm talking to you, I've never stepped in their bank.
That's quite interesting. So that period where the Bank of Industry, that period that the Bank of Industry came to you and drew down, how long was that period?
Around three months. 3 months. It's exactly 3 months. I do think came through.
What would you say about the process of securing loans at the Bank of Industry? You're already a beneficiary now. What would you say about that engagement?
What I will really say is that in getting money from Bank of Industry is very easy as long as you have what it takes. What does it take?
Tell me.
They want to see you that you are actually the promoter of the business, that you are serious about your business. You are passionate, you know what you are doing. After that interview, they have interviewed you, and they know what you put on ground, and that is even more than what they want to give you. And they have looked at the company's profile, finding out from other banks, They know the company is not on anybody. So Bank of Industry has no problem with that. All they want to do is that you want to add a value, you want to improve the economy. Okay, let's see what you have done. And they have seen this physically what you have done on the surface. So there's no much. I don't know anybody there, and I'm still telling you, I don't know anybody in the Bank of Industry.
Interesting. Now, that intervention, that particular intervention that you got from the Bank of Industry, tell me what it is for, how you've deployed it, and what impact that intervention is expected to have on your business.
The equipment we have ordered from this avalanche can process 120 metric tons, is processing 120 metric tons of soya beans per day. We have a silo of 1,000 tons, and the mill will process at least 120 metric tons every day to the solvent plant. And this will give us a percentage of, and the oil in the mill is just 18 to 20% of oil that you can extract from the soya bean. The remaining will be soya meal, which are all for the feed farmers. So which means every day we will be processing 120 metric tons of soya meal.
Now, in this factory, you process soybeans and you process palm kernel. Now, I can assume that you require a large size of input into this factory. Where do you get them from?
For the palm kernel, we got the raw materials right down in Ondo State, Ekiti State, Edo State, Osun State, and part of Kogi State. These are our basic areas we source for the palm kernel oil. But for the soya bean, we source from Benue, from Kaduna, from Kashina. These are the best where we got the soya bean into our factory.
How viable is this business?
The business is very viable. Viable in the sense that it is a day-to-day business activities that you need in every household in Nigeria. Both the palm kernel oil and the vegetable oil and the soya refined oil.
What is the big picture for First Maximum Industry?
Where we are, determine where we are going. Because because we don't want to rely solely on this buying from everybody.
Under what funds did you secure this loan from the Bank of Industry?
I will answer your question in two phases. One, this industry itself fall under two categories of the facility available in Bank of Industry. One under agric and under industry. And the two is what the factory is key into.
What in this industry would you want to wake up tomorrow and realize this is gone? What is the most debilitating challenge?
It's the major hindrance to any industry in Nigeria, which we will employ our governments to do, is to make sure that this power issue is tackled headlong. If they tackle it headlong and the access road to various industries, Nigeria will go along, this unemployment will go down drastically. Because it's only homemade goods that can create employment for the citizen.
If you're convinced you've got the passion, competence, and discipline for a sustained enterprise in the real sector of the Nigerian economy, but you require support, feel free to engage the Bank of Industry today, and they would be more than willing to partner with you. Remember, you can apply for BOI loans online. Just download the BOI SME Loan app from the Google Play Store and follow the instructions. For further inquiries, visit any of the Bank of Industry's branches closest to you or go to their website at boi.ng. You can also tweet at me at KAY Alayande for further inquiries. Now, watch previous editions of the program on youtube.com. Just type BOI Weekly in the search area and there you go. And that will be our show for today. Many thanks for watching. I'm Kayode Alayande. Bye now.